Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am playing, as I was a couple days ago, some redline Uzuri. As I call it, it's midline. It has 12 blues total, so kind of right in the middle. And we got a victor game. These games tend to go pretty long, so I'm going to put in a few extra cards, I think. Spreading Plague. I tend to not play too many of the go-agains, but I think looking for a scrap is a good enough value card that it's fine. And I think I'll cut the rabble. Oh, hello, kitty. I'll cut the rabbles because it lines up so poorly against the clash cards. All right, and maybe Nimble Strike. Yeah, why not? I love this card. It's a classic. It's not one of the most powerful, but back in those Dromai days, it was tons of fun to kill their Mirror Guy? Yeah, I think it was Mirror Guy. It's hard to remember exactly because Mirror Guy is Enigma's strongest card now. Okay, my opponent gets a great start. Visit Goldmane Estate. Gonna make 3 Might tokens right away. The Aurum Aegis counting as a gold to satisfy that condition. Now I guess they're wondering if they attack me. I wonder if they're holding a Golden Sun or something else that has evasion. This matchup is cool because... oh no, they just want to filter. This matchup is cool because I think both heroes have things that are annoying to the other. Assassin really does kind of get Guardian good with the daggers, I would say. Oh, speaking of... yeah, okay, so my play this turn is going to be dagger into CNC. You know, if Victor's on any defense reactions, then the daggers are quite good. Good with the CNC combo, I should say. And I'll comment in case you're new to this deck list. I'm not playing a Scale Peeler for now, which I think I would normally bring in against Guardian if I don't know their playstyle. I think Victor should be on some number of Sink Below because new is such a big part of the meta. But anyway, I'm trying the list with just 2 daggers, and we'll see. Something I didn't talk about in the last video, which I think is a pretty interesting point of theory, is like, let's say... ooh, blew up a Chokeslam, very nice. Let's say Enigma hits Living Legend. Let's say Viserai also hits Living Legend. We get a couple of Uzuri's quite bad matchups out of the way. At least this more traditional value type Uzuri. One that's not playing Count Your Blessing. So with those matchups out of the way, I think you can make some deck building choices that are pretty cool. You're not forced into one way of playing or another to deal with those meta threats. So Righteous Cleansing for 13, huh? I think I just want to send back the most efficient play I can, which would be 2 Nimblisms into probably the Leave No Witnesses, because I think the Infect could easily be blocked. So I'll block like this and hope they don't hit 2 cards of the same name. You don't get to play against Righteous Cleansing a lot. I wonder what this is hoping to target. Maybe there's like... maybe against like a Zen. Righteous Cleansing is kind of cool because they... you know, Zen likes to tutor for specific cards out of their deck with those inner chi, so you can remove like one of the Chase the Tail, perhaps. I don't think too many other decks care about exactly how many copies of a card are in there. You get a little bit of the Assassin game mode, where you can sometimes hit the opponent's powerful cards, so they don't get to play them at all. So the reason I went with the Leave No Witness instead of the Infect is because if he has just 4/3 blocks, which is very easy for Guardian to do, I don't get the extra 1 value that the Leave No Witness represents. And they just Tunic Chokeslam, which is fine by me. Let's see, how do I want to play this? I do have a few options. I think it's tempting to do the looking for a scrap, but it would lose the +1 attack if I let this crush. So I think what I want to do is Persuasive plus Shred, which I realize does have plenty of counterplay. I'm going to bottom the Isolate. Plenty of counterplay from my opponent. But I think that is sort of the point of doing it. Is I want to see what they're up to in terms of their defensive choices. And if I can get this to hit, then pretty big chance I just take a blue out of the victor's hand. Or a red. I think they are about a 50-50 split on blues and reds. So we'll see how they play this. So the way for them to defend it perfectly would be armor plus cards, I think, to play around exactly Shred. But we'll see. We'll see if they have D-Reacts in their deck. Nope. All right, great. So I get to take out a blue and leave them with E-Strike and 2 large crush attacks. Gain a couple of life along the way. So I think that went just about as I wanted it to. The only negative is that I basically traded my Shred for 1 block on the Crater Fist. So not the best value, but again, I got to see how they were trying to play that turn and potentially more of the game. My guess is they're going to hold the Disable, not the Spinal Crush, but we'll see. I have a Leave No Witnesses, so I think my turn is just going to be scrap into Leave No and hope they don't draw a Clash card to effectively negate the value of my looking for a scrap. They could have also kept the Spinal in there and then planned on blocking with Civic Steps this turn. We'll see. Pretty fast no block on my scrap is also potentially indicative of how they want to play. I would say they've used their armor pretty aggressively. I don't think there was really any reason to block my original Leave No Witnesses for 10. You know, the 1 card off the top is not gonna make any difference in a fatigue race, so they definitely, I think, would prefer to have their armor on this turn. Here's where, if they are playing D-Reacts, the Nerve Scalpel is kind of interesting. Maybe they're debating whether a defense reaction is good or enough on this attack. If they play enough Assassin, they probably know it is good enough. I would not commit a Nerve Scalpel that early with Flick Knives. I much prefer having 2 daggers near the end game. So they blocked with 2 blues, which is fine by me. Goldmane Estate, draw a card. If they draw a blue, they get to cast the Arsenal. That's pretty good. They did not. They're going to crack a gold. What? Oh, wow. So they drew a couple of reds. Well, that's good fortune for me. I'm wondering if 1 or 2 of them is a Clash card. That would make sense, given the context. I'm just going to start with a scrap. So we are 2 scraps down out of 2, so I no longer need to worry about what my blue stealth count is in the graveyard. It's one of the advantages of playing as many as I am, which is 9, is like, yes, I make the Ravenous Rabbles a little bit worse, but like you can imagine if this blue Infect is a red stealth instead, then I I actually don't get to play these turns out as I wanted. Okay, we get a hit with the Death Touch. They're just sending the whole thing at me, huh? They have, I think, 4 my tokens when I look at that. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to get better value than Blood Rot. I suspect their hand is like... No, maybe... It is tricky to place exactly what they have because they passed with 2 cards. So you'd expect them to have 2 reds, these leftmost cards, and then 2 randoms. If they had Enlightened Strike as one of the other 2 reds, they would have sent it. So I'm pretty sure they're not holding the big hand to do an E-Strike unless they drew it. Ah, so it's a pummel. Okay, that's the only thing that makes sense in this case, is a pummel. So how would I like to defend against pummel? This says all of my cards lose go again. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and block like so. They're always going to throw the pummel, and then I just de-react on top of it. Enlightened Strike. I think I actually wanted E-Strike second cycle. So we're going to do that. If it gets the second cycle, my opponent's at 15. But the reason I make that comment at all is a lot of assassin endgames can come down to the opponent having, or like both players not having too much life. And I think an E-Strike, if I'm given the opportunity to keep a large hand, is going to be better than some daggers. So that is the theory. Okay, they have a disable, holding 2 more cards. I think it's pretty unlikely a pummel comes down. But if it does, I have counterplay. So I'm going to do it like this. Okay, and then just cast the sigil so I don't lose my arsenal for nothing. All right. And now I get to send a shakedown with Shred back up. Hey, there's a clash card. It's about time. All right, so they reveal Golden Sun, winning the first clash, and I believe drawing that card. And then they reveal Macho, and I reveal Surgical. So I know for a fact he's holding a yellow. So and he has 2 vigors, so I'm just going to call yellow and get his Golden Sun. Now he has a blue and a Spinal, which he gets to throw thanks to having 2 vigor, because he also blocked with a Clash of Vigor. Yeah, lots of clashing happening at once on that attack. So this let him basically get a 2-card Spinal. Very strong. And he knows I have a Surgical. So here's the thing. Because he knows I have a Surgical, I don't want to isolate swap into it. I think that is just a little bit too telegraphed. So instead, I'm gonna block. And I'm gonna keep one of the isolates for Arsenal. And generally, I would say blocking fully and not attacking back the victor is something that's worth doing every once in a while during a game. Based on the cards I've seen, my guess is he's only on Trounce and not on Test of Strength. But it can be pretty easy to strand the victor with the 4-card hand and not much to do with it. He did draw his last gold main estate. So what I might do for the next turn or two is just kind of play conservatively and not take too much damage from these tokens. The CNC is pretty scary, like this being his attack for the turn. I think what I should do is play around a pummel by using my hat. because a pummel just kind of ruins a lot, and there's not another on hit that I really care about in his deck. So I'm going to do it this way, and basically I get to dodge a potential pummel and potentially also reset an arsenal, which is cool. He passed straight through. So here's how I'm going to play this turn. I'm going to do the isolate, and I'm going to see how much armor he commits. He only goes with test of strength. That's really curious. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna swap into Death Touch, and I'm gonna give it go again, and then I'm gonna force him to block my shakedown, I think. So I could have just gone right to the shakedown and guarantee the hit, and I take a blue card probably, and that's it. But he still has 3 cards and a Vigor token to send back his turn, so I think getting both damage and some disruption is the better play. Of course, this turn we find out my opponent is also applying some number of Test of Strength. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that outcome. Snapdragons usually gets its value in matches like this when they overblock a stealth card, but I'm totally fine as it turned out this time. Golden Sun for 15? Man. Visit the Goldmane Estate is a pretty messed up card. So is Codex of Frailty. Looking at my deck, I mean, I definitely still have enough gas to end the game. So I'm going to take a... Oh, it's Overpower. Okay, I was going to take slightly value negative play. But actually, no, I'm just taking everything, I'm pretty sure. And I send back my Isolate Death Touch. That does kind of open myself up to getting pummeled and dying, which I'm really not a fan of. But not having a blue is kind of rough to go with my Codex. It's tricky. I think I'd rather take the line that preserves my life total. If I could have blocked the Overpower with the Death Touch, I would have done it. But basically, I'm trying to protect myself against no blocks from the opponent into some stupid 4-card random pummel draw that kills me, or at least like gives me a way to lose. So I'll just do it like this, and I'll have 11 life, and I'll give him back an attack of his choice with this Codex, but I think that's fine. Blocking the Spider's Bite ended up doing nothing because it takes 4 to defend this anyway. So I really just need to dodge a Test of Strength, I think, in his hand, and this will be a pretty decent outcome. Let's see, he has 1 Golden Sun left in deck, presumably 2 Pommels and 2 CNC. So this is going to be a pretty close endgame. Pretty dependent on the draw sequence, I think. This is how a lot of Uzuri games used to go back in the day. And still do, by the way, if you're not playing a Count Your Blessing variant that has more polarized matchups. He chose E-Strike. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what... I mean, I guess it's like a... Oh, that's my sync below. Okay, so he drew E-Strike as well. Yeah, so he had the clash, kind of annoying, but what can you do? draw into my third codex, which is a nice follow-up in terms of value. I think I also have a Nimble Strike in my deck, one of my favorite cards ever. Okay, he just goes for Golden Sun Overpower, which this is really dubious considering I just showed him a sink below. But I will take it. Really, aside from the Nimble Strike, there's like maybe Sigil of Solace that I would like to draw. I don't think there are any reds that really get me there, although swinging the second dagger isn't too impactful. No, it sort of is because of his life total. So I'm gonna go forgo the chance of getting pretty much exactly Nimble Strike or Sigil to just go ahead and swing both daggers into Codex. He still has an E-Strike in his arsenal, by the way. I'm not sure what I would have done in his spot last turn. Oh wow, it was a Nimble Strike. That's just hilarious. I'm right on that stuff too much. It's uncanny. But now I know my Ponder, so that's kind of cool. I'll just send the CNC. Blocking the Nerve Scalpel is totally trolling on his part. He should have blocked the Spider's Bite instead. Maybe he figured that was the only dagger coming in and he's holding like, I don't know, double blocking card. You know, if he's holding two Clash cards, then maybe this makes sense. Or maybe he wanted to know whether he would have a Vigor this turn. That doesn't make too much sense because he has an E-Strike and Arsenal, so it doesn't matter really how many resources he has. So all in all, I'm not sure what the block on the Nerve really did for him. And let's see. Yeah, he did fail to win the Clash, so he could have re-rolled that. Not really sure why he didn't. He goes to 1 life. Oh, I must have missed something there. I should have flicked my thing at him, obviously. But it really doesn't matter. The game is definitely over. We'll do some style points. Send the Nimble Strike. And this was a pretty cool game, if you ask me. I think we made the right macro decision to keep the life totals high and just allow myself to draw into these hands that ended the game. They had a pummel. Does having pummel make the Clash of Vigor block any more defensible? I don't think it does, because he needed 2 blues anyway to Golden Sun pummel me. Yeah, so that was just strange all in all. Or no, his Golden Sun was already gone, but this is the one he attacked with. So he blocked the Clash of Vigor. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Yeah. I think the game was trending toward I win anyway. You know, Spider's Bite CNC, if he wants to block that whole thing, it takes 3 cards, and then I draw a hand that's like Nimble Strike plus Shred swap. So I think he was dead either way. And this is a good example of that red slanted Uzuri gameplay I missed so dearly. I thought we had good Snapdragon use this game. Really, it kind of like forced my opponent to play how I wanted them to, which is good. Normally this is more of a reactive thing to decisions they make, but instead I got to push the tempo how I wanted. And let's see what else. Nimblism was yet again kind of mid. This is the type of card that I hope gets upgraded with the Hunted. You know, some way to extend your hand before casting a Codex or before swapping into a card would be nice. If it blocks 3, even better. So maybe an attack reaction that gives go again. Fingers crossed, kind of like Hiss. That would be sweet. And I think that's pretty much it. I might try some other cards in the next one, but for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.